Here we go.
Hello and welcome to Bounding into Comics. My name is John Trent. I'm the founder and editor-in-chief at Bounding into Comics. Today I got a story about the Percy Jackson and the Olympians author and novelist Rick Riordan declaring that the race swaps in the upcoming Disney Plus television series were, quote, 100% his choices, his decisions, and he could not be happier with how things are going. So I wrote this article yesterday. Let's take a look at it here. Riordan took full credit for the race swaps of Grover and Annabeth in the upcoming Percy Jackson and the Olympians Disney Plus series in an update on Mother's Day, discussing his first week on site at the studio, where they are currently filming Percy Jackson and the Olympians. As part of that update, the novelist declared, "I am delighted to hear about the overwhelmingly positive response to the casting announcements. It is well-founded." He then added, "Rest assured, these characters are 100% my choices, my decisions, and I could not be happier with how things are going." You can see here the cast of Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Walker Scobell is playing Percy Jackson. Leah Sava Jeffries is playing Annabeth, and Aryan Simhadri is playing Grover. So despite claiming that the responses to the casting news are overwhelmingly positive, Riordan then reassured fans who are not on board with the decisions, "If you have any doubts, wait until you see them act in the show. You'll quickly see why I chose them and why I am so confident." If responses are overwhelmingly positive, why would Riordan even need to reassure people about the casting of the show? It kind of contradicts itself, doesn't it? Big red flag there, where you're literally contradicting yourself within 2 or 3 sentences of each other, and that's usually what a lot of these people do when they're lying. They out themselves, and that's exactly what I think Riordan is doing. I think he's lying. We'll go through a number of pieces of evidence that explain my position on that and why I think that. So again, here I say, this is clearly another piece of evidence showing just how disingenuous Riordan has been regarding the casting of the characters. When the author first announced the castings on his website and revealed that actress Leah Sava Jeffries will play Annabeth Chase, Riordan brazenly declared, "Leah is exactly the way I imagined Annabeth in the books. Smart, strong, courageous, a true daughter of Athena who has zero patience for the foolishness of a certain seaweed brain." He added, "Watching her act with Walker and Aryan, I saw Annabeth Chase come to life. As soon as you see her on the screen, you will know what I mean. The wise girl has arrived." However, Jeffries does not look at all like the way Riordan described Annabeth in his novels. Clearly, the actress is not how he imagined her, given she does not match her descriptions in the novels. In Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, Riordan wrote, "The last thing I remember is collapsing on a wooden porch, looking up at a ceiling fan circling above me, moths flying around a yellow light, and the stern faces of a familiar-looking bearded man and a pretty girl, her blonde hair curled like a princess's. They both looked down at me, and the girl said, 'He's the one, he must be.' 'Silence, Annabeth,' the man said. 'He's still conscious, bring him inside.'" So clearly here we get a description of Annabeth's hair. Her blonde hair curled like a princess's. So she clearly has a blonde hair curled like a princess, according to Riordan. And then later in the novel, he added, "She was probably my age, maybe a couple of inches taller, and a whole lot more athletic looking. With her deep tan and her curly blonde hair, she was almost exactly what I thought a stereotypical California girl would look like, except her eyes ruined the image. They were startling gray like storm clouds, pretty but intimidating too, as if she were analyzing the best way to take me down in a fight." So again, here we get another description of her. Deep tan, curly blonde hair, stereotypical California girl. I think that's pretty clear what that means. And it just kind of contradicts Riordan saying that Jeffries is exactly how he imagined Annabeth looking in the books, when it's clear that he had a very different view of how she looked when he was originally writing the books. So, and then again, we have in the original graphic novel adaptations of Riordan's novel, Annabeth clearly looks nothing like Jeffries. You can see here, blonde, white girl. On top of this, Riordan would also address the description of Annabeth's gray eyes in his Mother's Day post. First, he revealed his description of them being gray did indeed mean they were the color of the eye. However, he now claims that this isn't what he meant, and it's just a term for describing a character's eyes as, quote, bright. This is what he wrote. Did you know that the gray in gray-eyed Athena doesn't necessarily translate as a color? I like the idea of her having stormy gray eyes and always described her that way in my books. So again, he's talking about that her eyes were gray, like the color gray right there. He's saying that, right? But then he goes on to say, but the ancient Greek term, I don't know how to pronounce that, I'm not going to try, can also be translated as bright-eyed, as in wise or perceptive, and shares a root with another Greek term, which means owl, Athena's sacred bird. In other words, Athena has bright eyes like an owl. Who says they have to be gray? Not this owl. So he's clearly contradicting his own source material in order to justify race swapping the character. It's just utterly ridiculous. Again, it's a proof that he knows that the fans, like there's a clearly significant group of fans that do not like this casting announcement, are clearly upset about him changing the source material. Again, contradicting his claim that it's been overwhelmingly positive. Like, why would you even include this piece when it's only to justify the race swapping? Again, another piece of evidence that shows that he's disingenuous, and in my opinion, he's lying. And then again, you can even look here on his own website, picture of Annabeth Chase, white girl, blonde hair. Like, come on, dude. Like, this is clearly not how you imagined Annabeth Chase. I mean, it's on your website here of what she looks like. Just like, you're lying. That's what you're doing. You're lying. You're trying to gaslight your own fans. It's kind of sick. So right here, you really can't make this up. Riordan says he clearly imagined her eyes always as gray, meaning the color. However, now that he discovered that the Greek word can also be translated as bright-eyed, he says that his use of the word gray doesn't actually mean the color anymore. I mean, that just doesn't fly, and is clearly a poor excuse to hand wave away the race swapping he's doing. And as we've seen throughout modern Hollywood productions, all the modern sensibility changes that come along with race swapping. So when you race swap stuff, you get all of these other modern sensibility changes, which is code for like woke, and they're going to be preaching at you. So, I mean, this is clearly, I clearly expect that to be coming in this new Disney Plus series. And again, it's Disney Plus. They literally have quotas for this as part of their Reimagine Tomorrow campaign. So it's not surprising that they're doing this. I think it is a little bit surprising that Riordan is basically gaslighting his own fans in order to justify it. So that is kind of surprising. But then again, if you don't think that Grover is being race swapped, here is a picture of the character on his website. And again, they race swapped Grover in the original films. So that's not like unheard of that they wouldn't do that again, because they had already done it. There already been a precedent for it. But again, it is a race swap, because you can see here he's clearly on his website a white character, a satyr. And that's not surprising given that it is a Greek mythological character. And again, Annabeth is the daughter of Athena, a Greek goddess too. So all those people claiming that, or trying to make the absolute garbage argument about, oh, the character's race is specific to that character, like they'll always give you that argument with Black Panther. Well, I would think that being the daughter of a Greek goddess would be pretty clear that you'd want to look like what the Greek people look like. So again, you see that disingenuous argument, but they don't really care, because it's not about that. And so here's another example. We have Riordan's wife, Becky Riordan, also took to Twitter to describe those critical of the casting as haters and implied they are participating in demagoguery. Remember, Rick said in his post that he was seeing it being overwhelmingly positive, but yet you have his wife here going out and calling people critical of the casting haters and saying that they're participating in demagoguery. I find it really hard to believe that his wife wasn't telling him about this stuff and he would just somehow say that it's overwhelmingly positive. Again, I think he's lying. Another point to where he's lying. So she wrote on Twitter here, a while back, you, the fans, and I agreed to make these handles as kid-friendly, safe places as possible. We give no room to demagoguery. Again, they're using this coded language, safe places, like just safe space, whatever, dude. Like, get out of here. We give no room to demagoguery, implying that these fans are racist. We focus on the positive. We are supportive and uplifting. We encourage fans to not give space to hate speech, veiled or blatant. It's hilarious because you're literally using quote unquote veiled speech, safe spaces, and calling these people basically demagogues or racists because they don't like that you've changed the characters, which is just utterly absurd. And in my opinion, makes you the actual hater. So then here she goes again, and she says, I will also tell you something I know is a fact. Rick's books open people's minds. We get letters all the time that tell us this. Our TV show can do the same. Yelling at haters will get us nowhere. Do not give their hate fires oxygen. So she's literally calling people who are critical of the decision haters and wanted the characters to match up to the source material that Riordan eventually wrote. But clearly they're not. They don't care about their fans anymore. They're just going to throw them aside because they want to get those Disney bucks and they want to get this this audience that Disney promises them that they can get. We'll see how it goes. There's a reason why this is probably being on Disney Plus and not going to be aired anywhere else, because they can hide who's actually watching the show. So given Riordan's own wife is addressing negative feedback to the casting announcements, it's really hard to believe that Riordan thinks the response has been overwhelmingly positive, as I said earlier. Given this and other statements, Riordan has made it more than likely he sold out his own readers and fans and is clearly attempting to gaslight them into believing changing his characters for a Disney adaptation is receiving positive feedback. And I'm sure there are some people giving it positive feedback, but there's definitely people being heavily critical of it, as they should be, because they should expect that the characters will look the way they are described in the books and have been featured in official artwork and even on his website. But maybe the biggest problem I have with Riordan is that the gaslighting coming from him is really sad, because he was one of the biggest critics of the original films for not following his books. Back in June 2020, just 2 years ago, Riordan revealed he hadn't seen the films but judged them based off the scripts he read. He tweeted, "Finally, I have not seen the movies and don't plan on ever doing so. I judge them from having read the scripts because I care most about the story. I certainly have nothing against the very talented actors. Not their fault. I'm just sorry they got dragged into that mess." So he's clearly a critic of the films and for not following his source material and the story accurately. He would also respond to a number of fan questions where he revealed he wanted the movies to be completely censored because that's how horrible he thought they were based on the scripts. So he said, "I don't know, but clearly it's a mistake. They should censor the entire thing. Just 2 hours of blank screen." And then here, this is probably the one that stands out to me the most. He says, "Well, to you guys, it's a couple hours entertainment. To me, it's my life's work going through a meat grinder when I pleaded with them not to do it. So yeah, but it's fine, all fine. We're going to fix it soon." So he was literally calling the Fox films, the 2 films that were made previously, putting his life's work through a meat grinder. And he's basically just doing the same thing now, despite promising he was going to fix it. So again, this guy's a total hypocrite, and he's completely gaslighting his audience now. And then trying to make them feel terrible for criticizing the show not staying true to his source material when he was doing the same thing just 2 years ago. And again, he's clearly isn't fixing it. He's race swapping characters. His wife is attacking fans for similar criticisms he made just 2 years ago. And then I'm going to conclude with this. He threw in his lot with the Walt Disney Company, a company that actively admits to engaging in racism and other vile practices, such as the promotion of transgenderism and child grooming. So that's pretty much what I have to say about Rick Riordan. Again, here's a more official artwork of Annabeth Chase from the book The House of Hades. It's on the cover, clearly a white girl with blonde hair. So, like, catch me later with that claim that that's how you originally imagined the character. Complete and he's just lying. Complete and utter lie from Rick Riordan. And I mean, he's getting caught out on his lies and he's doubling down on it because that's what these people do. So I don't really expect this show to do well. He's attacking his fans. He's already on all of the steps on how to kill a franchise that the Critical Drinker has laid out. We have that article up on the website kind of summarizing his video. If you're not, check out his video too, where he kind of does it. I think Percy Jackson and the Olympians is very well on its way to that already. And it's coming from the original character who's literally going to just kill his own franchise. It's just, you can't make it up. But this is what happens in modern Hollywood. So those are my thoughts on the matter. My name is John Trent, and you've been watching Bounding into Comics.